Proving the Bible with Science, a Bible Study in the Truth. The Rosetta Stone, the Arch of the Covenants. Page 8. Genesis 1:12. And the earth brought forth grass and herb, yielding seeds after its own kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his own kind. And God saw that it was good. So here, A, we have describes what happens just as described, and no literal. B, here we also is defined after its own kind, inferring it to be God's will, kind, meaning as God willed. This clarifies a patent on all the DNA makeups of everything, so this breaks the covenant brings to attention that the permission is not granted to break the covenant of sterile seed, not making sterile seed, to create sterile seed, to grow sterile plants, and denies permission to create weak, inferior strains of plants, such as gene splicing can be bad or good. And as a bad example, corn is almost destroyed now. It's illegal to grow corn in 3/4 of the world. And it's GMO everywhere nowadays. And this mix of the spiced corn with natural corn is inferior and or sterile. I mean, the corn is sterile. You can't even grow. And what good is it? It's garbage. But man has made it against statutes and codes to grow natural corn in the USA, Canada, and virtually just about every other place in the world for this blasphemy to continue. And remember that one of the prophecies in the scriptures is that we will be able to take thorns off of roses. And what can we do now? We can grow roses without thorns. And C, covenant, and God saw it was good. Covenant. Do not try to invent gene splice things of perversion like sterile fruit, half pig, half plant, garbage disposals, or mixing, different DNAs, making like a car horse or a microwave beetle. We don't need any of this kind of GMO crap that's not held in check. So, anyway, on to the next one. Now we have Genesis 1:13. And the evening and the morning were the third day. Day 3, meaning the covenant is defined. Remember, we're going through a white hole. Things are being created. There's no sense of time. We don't have a watch that we would wear right now. This is told from God's perspective. A day in God's perspective from the middle of the white hole, creating the white hole, you've got trillions of years possible before anything even crosses the event horizon. If you really want to get down to it. All right, so Genesis. Oh, wait. Do I got anything else? Okay. Oops. So Genesis 1:14. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons, and for days and for years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. So again, this is reinforcing God's power to simply, with intention, speak things or spake things into existence with vibration. B, this is describing the event horizon of a white hole. Right? Everything you heard about, the Big Bang, a bunch of nonsense, isn't it? So no such thing. Now we have all heard about a black hole, its gravity well, and how time dilates near the event horizon. White hole is creation event would cause time dilate also. So scientifically, this proves how the stars are billions of years older than the Earth and our solar system. As long as the Earth is over 50% closer to the middle of the point of creation in the universe that God created, this would mean every second on the outside of the event horizon could be a billion years our time, depending on the placement of the event horizon. This is a crucial This is a crucial concept to understand, as it gives understanding to our being created in God's image. Just as God creates, so does mankind. First imagine, picture it in your mind, then form intent. So this we will call a business plan, just like if we were making a business, we would imagine it, we'd write it down on paper, we would figure out any of the snags, and then we would figure out a way to fund it, right? Then back it with action, and don't give up till you see how good it feels when you finish. So you have the attitude that you're not going to fail. You got to push it all the way through. You can't just go, I got this business plan, loan it, and then go, oh, I'm going to go and sit and watch TV and not do any work. I got the money for the business plan, but I'm not going to follow through. Another example, picture selling firewood. Imagine all the things that you would need to do right down to the business plan with all the details, and then go and take the action, chop down the tree, and follow through with the rest of your business plan to complete. You know, just like it's explained here in the Bible. First, you got to imagine it. Then you got to figure out the details, and then you got to implement the action. Spake it into existence, meaning take action to put it into existence. Page 10. 114. Again, the power of God is being able to spake things into existence, is pointed out. B, it is clear that when God created all the stars in the sky, even mentions our sun, star, lighting half of the dome of gravity, 1/6. Planets. Why? The purpose. C mentions the signs of the North Star is a sign that you are not lost. As long as you know how to find the North Star, you know north, east, west, south, you can find your way home. Seasons by how the stars change. We can do that, because we know there are different positions when it's winter and spring, right? As we are on the opposite side of the sun. As the sun shines through every single day when the covenants are kept, but the moon helps sneaky people to shady things in the dark, promising to light their escape, but only to truly giving the full light once every 28 days. That was just a little side note. All right, so C suggests even how our planet Earth rotates the sun, proved by science. E mentions how the movement of all the stars is an accurate clock for the sun, even creates not just one day, but rotates the sun in 365 and 1/4 days each year. F. This even gives you the concept of an atom as planets orbiting the sun. So as we're created in God's image, God has control over solar systems as we have control over atoms. 115. And let them be for lights in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth, and it was so. This specifies God's intent. Humans would call this a business plan. Now, 16. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. So 116a clarifies the creation of the sun and moon. There's clarification of false light, definition of reflection of God's light opposite, so that we can surmise that the moon phase undependability, or we could say lies, doesn't tell the truth. And that's why I guess I read the other part a little bit early. As the sun shines true every single day when the covenants are kept, but the moon helps sneaky people to do shady things, dark promises to hide their escape, but only truly giving light or darkness once every 28 days. B, as an afterthought, it mentions he had already made the stars, inferring that they crossed the event horizon well before our solar system even came through. They were made the same day, under concept of time dilation. So 117. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. Here it specifies the action as a follow-through. Humans would call this doing the job or the work, putting in the effort. 18, Genesis 1:18, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness, and God saw that it was good. Describes again the purpose is not to worship just a thing, a tool to tell time. It's not an item to worship. You don't pull stars out of the sky or the sun out of the sky to worship any more than you would pull God's son out of the sky and make a statue of him and worship him. You don't do it. B, even references Genesis 1:4, inferring definition of right and wrong, light and darkness, and brings up the thought, goodness does not need to be hidden in the darkness. Would you do it if someone were watching? Right and wrong. Notice everything created, notice everything created till now C, notice everything created till now, except for algae and seeds, God points out as concepts below these. are just tools for humans to use as a clock. These things are concepts not created for mankind to worship, but to revel in God's greatness and used to inspire our imagination as we follow God.
Yeah, look up a
But as we
scimitar.
notice, the seeds are already creating oxygen here. Way back, thousands of years before animals and everything. And as we know, the event horizon, those thousands of years could be billions of years, scientifically speaking. Okay. So 119. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day. This tells us again, fourth day crossing the event horizon, Genesis 1, 2, 2, 4, specifies creation, time dilation, took generations to cross the event horizon in 7 days. This infers that a day's second meaning is a covenant or set of covenants. Two things are meant like everywhere else in the Bible. Genesis 1:20. And God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creatures that have life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of the heavens. And now, a billion years later, or 1 day in God's time, there's God's perspective. This is not man's perspective in Genesis 1:1. Completely different book. So, 120. Again, God's greatness is mentioned as able to speak things into existence with just creating vibration with words and intent. B, the imagining of the sea creatures and the birds and the bugs. Defines air as where the birds fly. You know, the inside, the pan of the
firmament. What is firmament?
That protects us from the vacuum, or the abyss is what it calls it, where Satan is sent
Lucifer's
for
light.
1,000 years, and then we dug him out of the ground.
Radioactivity.
But the abyss, you know, as soon as the astronauts went out to outer space, we knew that that was down the rabbit hole where radiation is aware when you are watching it. The obvious radiation is an angel of God, Lucifer, who created all life on the planet. So now God's got Lucifer down here, and this little bit of radiation has turned this plant, created these microbes which have grown into different creatures.
Like
with the angel of God, a little bit of radioactivity in here and there, and boom, this animal becomes that animal becomes this animal, that animal becomes this animal. We create all kinds of beautiful creatures. So,
who came first, the chicken or the egg? Look at the platypus.
Shoot, I forgot where I was here. Defines the sky and heaven as the air birds fly in, to clarify the difference between the heavens that contain the stars as being different from the heavens where the air that's breathable that the birds fly in is. We got a definition separation there. Again suggests the gravity well, clarifying we all live in a sealed room. Meaning dome, the Sion and Sidon, the pot and the pan, the pan and the lid, or the pot and the lid, the whole pan, not just half a pan, the whole pan, the pan and the lid. Hebrews suggest a metal dome, as science has proved. Gravity holds air, heaven to the ground, heaven, air, breathable air, clean, breathable air, that on entry to the gravity dome, if you don't have the exact trajectory, your vehicle will either smash into the dome
Breathable air.
and or ricochet off, which helps keep us safe from asteroids, right? Or skipping as a rock, or it incinerates and entering very. It has to be a very big asteroid to make it to the ground, like one that took out Sodom and Gomorrah. 3 enters the conceptual difference of a border between the outer space heavens and the heaven of inner space.
An asteroid is just about to
So the firmament goes up to here, then we're in the pan, and then we have outer space. So we got 2, heaven on earth and heaven. What was that
number it said in Revelation?
The heavens. Meaning 2 different things.
No, I'm going.
All right, Genesis 1:21. And God created great whales and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after its kind. And God saw that it was good. 121. A, the follow through, taking the action and doing the work. B, and God creates the sea animals and the creatures and the bugs and the birds.
I got to hit pause for a second here. So the bugs, mosquitoes, as pesky as they are, remember, in creating new life forms, you have to have, genetic splicing. So you need the surgeon or, the mosquito to splice this gene with that gene. And, so same thing that we would do, only we'd use syringes and stuff. But God doesn't need to do that. So I just thought I'd point that miracle out. It's a beautiful thing if you notice it.
It's definitely a covenant. C, the concept of DNA is presented again, and the idea that mixing them, gene splicing them, or mutating them with radiation is wrong, is God did what was necessary and we shouldn't change it.
Don't mess with God's
reinforcing that don't pollute the sea with land trash. Don't pollute the drinkable water with poo-poo.
Or poison.
Don't shit in your neighbor's water, right? So Genesis 1:22. And God blessed them, saying, Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let the birds, the fowls, which are birds, multiply in the earth. In the earth, meaning inside the pot and pan lid. Where we live, in the earth, inside the dome of the air.
We live on the
clarifies, A, be fruitful and multiply, as a command to be fertile, horny, and make babies, even with the animals. And B, points out that the sea creatures and bugs and the birds obeyed God, as we scientifically know that until man broke the covenants of the seas, were fruitful with overabundance and plenty.
And we built dams.
It wasn't until man broke the covenants and started building dams and polluting the seas, committing blasphemy, that we had any problem. This DDT and this plastic and this garbage that's floating out at sea, it's blasphemy. Until you guys did that, and we all did it, Shameful.
Yep, we're all guilty.
All right. 123.
Can't point the finger. Those are
And the evening
heretics.
And the morning were the 5th day. Now remember, we haven't crossed the event horizon, so these days, although from Earth looking up might be 24 hours, but inside the event horizon, the whole solar system traveling outward, billions of years.
Could easily have passed.
The Big Bang can't explain anything. This just has
Except destroying your hand.
one proof after another. Big Bang, you put a firecracker in your hand, you blow your fingers off. That's the truth. So it's utter lie and make-believe. I can't even explain anything with it. All right, so 23. So A, again, the fifth day is reinforced with Genesis 2:4, infers a difference in the time dilations as if crossing an event horizon of proximity of our planet gravity dome to said event horizon. Also reinforced by its being written, a day to the Lord is 1,000 years to mankind. But that's well after this. We're way after the event horizon now. I mean, that's like 5 days after the event horizon. This is what?
Well, at least a week.
Fifth day. So we still got another day before we're even to the event horizon. So we're still talking a billion years. So, and B, evening and morning being mentioned reinforces and suggests during creation our planet was crossing an event horizon, so one day of Earth time would come to be well over 1,000 years mentioned later in the Bible, and suggested it may have been more like millions or billions of years, supporting evolution of sea creatures and birds, likely, along with some miracles of, genetically manipulating them.
Mosquitoes.
So,
radiation.
Evolution would be also with the light of Satan, Lucifer. Uranium. Bird lays its eggs over here in the right place, and that uranium changes it to a different breed of bird, and then maybe to a platypus, turns them into a duck, and then the duck into a platypus, and the platypus into, and then that into, and I mean, makes sense. Whereas evolution doesn't. There's no proof of that except for, a couple of ancient seashells.
They've unraveled
but
DNA.
Not man. Mankind, creation, is separated from the generations of the creatures that grow while filling the oceans of our sea with teeming life. Most important to this is this allows some time for the plankton to fill the midst of the heavenly sky with oxygen, and allowing for the land creatures and animals to be able to live and be created through, the radioactive light of angel of Lucifer. A little genetic change here, a little genetic change here. All the angel of God really has to do is go, boom, you're different. Whereas when we try to use Lucifer's light, we get perversions. When God uses it, we get miracles. Scientifically proven is truth. Allowing for the creature, animals to be able to live and be created. Scientifically proven is truth. And as we can see, God being defined as a spirit without physical form other than everything she created at this point.
Even the God particle.
God is everything. And
you're only going to see half the God particle.
Eternal in contrast to physical life forms. Remember, to God, all this time, all these billions of years that to us creation took, from God's perspective, was 6 days. From our perspective,
who knows?
In our timeline, we're talking like billion years. God is eternal. Spirit is eternal. So in contrast to physical life forms, this concept is important to define the deity part of both Christ and Jesus, as well as God, and as well as understanding our own spirit. You know, the spirit that gives us dead dirt and water a way to think and be self-aware. A miracle. Instead of just being an animal, we can choose to be better. All right, this is a good place to end this part of this Bible study. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it.